Okay, so here in the fall garden, I happen to have a weed that's actually a really good food, and I wanted to show it here because it's a great time to harvest it, and this is a way that I can weed the garden and also get some good food. So the weed I'm talking about is wild parsnip. So here is a wild parsnip leaf. This is how it looks, the whole leaf. These little guys on the sides, each of these little guys are leaflets. And you can see up close for identification that each of these leaflets, they don't really have a stem. They're kind of just coming right out of the main stem. The leaves don't have petioles, the leaflets. They're almost hugging the stalk. They're they're pretty close to the main stem is what I'm getting at here. Okay, and that's one identification feature. Of course, at the top there's three little leaflets pointing, with the one pointing forwards, and then all the way down two, and there might be five or six or three or seven, depending on how long the leaves are, sets of leaflets. So we have a few of these leaves coming up out of what we call a basal rosette, where they're coming right up out of the ground. And underneath this is a parsnip root. So in the second year of growth, this parsnip will get a tall flowering stalk coming up from it with like yellow flowers that look like Queen Anne's lace, except they're yellow. But in the first year, you just have these leaves coming right up out of the root. So that's where we're at here. This is a first year plant. It seeded itself in the spring. Here we are in the fall, and this is a good time that it can be harvested. So I'm going to pull it out so we can see. I got my trowel and I'm going in underneath the root, loosing it around, a little bit of weeding out the garden here, and we've got oops, I broke it, but we have a parsnip root. So if I clear away some of the soil, you can see that it's a pretty nice white color, and it's got a sweet smell. This wild parsnip is the exact same genus and species as cultivated parsnip. So you can grow parsnip in your garden, or you can just get it from the wild. And if you live here in Southeastern Ontario, you will find there's lots of wild parsnip growing around. People have big concerns about it because if you touch the leaves, if they get broken and you get some of the juice of the plant on your skin on a bright sunny day, or if it's really hot out and your skin's kind of sweaty and the leaves might be kind of sweaty and you touch the leaves, or the stems, any of the above ground portion of the plant touches your skin in the sunlight, and some of the fluid, the exudate, the juice, whatever from the plant gets on your skin in the sunlight, you can have a severe burn reaction. So you need to know what this plant looks like so that you don't just go breaking it and having it touch your skin in the sun. Or like if you're mowing it, that you realize, oh, if it gets mowed and it gets broken and it splashes on your skin, it can cause a burn. So recognizing that and protecting yourself accordingly, washing your skin immediately if you get some of the juice on your hand, and keeping it out of the sunlight immediately, because the sunlight and the juice is what's going to cause the reaction on your skin. But the root is an edible parsnip, delicious edible parsnip. Once it gets cleaned up, we have so many of these. You can get lots and lots of these, roast them up, and have delicious fall roasts or soups or whatever you do with parsnips. They're wonderful. And by digging out the root, of course, we manage the excessive growth of the parsnips, because the parsnips are considered an invasive. They seed themselves readily, they escape cultivation, and they're all around. And then, so in addition to them being concerned because they cause burning on the skin, they also are of concern for people because they are considered to be invasive. However, they are tremendous food, the roots, for us. The flowers are tremendous food for pollinators. So I have those two positive things to say about the wild parsnip, Pastinaca sativa. So there we go, wild parsnip. I'm gonna continue to dig some more and bring it in so that we can have some with our dinner tonight, or maybe some of it we'll store and have on a different night. And throughout the fall, if you can get, even in the winter, if you can get into ground, like if the ground's not frozen, you can harvest wild parsnip if you can recognize those leaves. And then in the early spring, you'll recognize these leaves again, and you can harvest them then too, which is great, because in the early spring around here, when we don't have all the fall harvests, they've all been eaten up, and we don't have anything fresh in the garden yet, we can get fresh wild parsnip roots out of the ground, and that is a wonderful thing. So that's what I have to say about that. Tamara from Hawthorne Herbals with wild parsnip. Blessings.